Elise.
I've got here we go. I've got one of the girls that is Elsie, and I think she spells it the same way. So Elise, Serena, Karen, and Tammy, and Tanya. Awesome.
So I just want to say thank you so much, Celine, for being here today. I did have lots of excited teams saying they were jumping on. So well done, ladies, for being on here today. I just want to say, first of all, a big congratulations to you for becoming our CEO. I'm so excited about that. And I don't think it could have happened to a better person. We're just so blessed to have you. We really are. And we all love you over here, don't we, guys? I'm speaking on behalf of all of you. But
I can't wait till you let me back in. I really can't wait to just let me back in.
We want you to come over and see you.
Oh, no, I so want to. I mean, New Zealand holds a really strong part. You know, it's so dear to us. We lived there for 2 years. We have some beautiful friends over there. I love our Kiwis, our community. I just love, because there's just a heart. I say in the team, at the office all the time, kind of thing. There is just a heart and a spirituality that kind of comes through from all of our beautiful Kiwis. I just love it. I actually meet on a Tuesday night. I'm actually part of a women's group, and we meet online. And 5 of them are actually all from New Zealand, different parts, kind of thing. And I just love what they bring to the table, just from that gorgeous essence, that soul essence that I think is just so spiritual, and that. So I have a really, really dear part of my soul is kind of definitely meant to be in New Zealand, I think.
Yeah, we're so happy. So I just want to pass this over to you, because you've always got so much value to add, and you've already shown that by you started well before there was many people on. So, I just love what you can offer us, and just any inspiration is just perfect. So,
well, you know what? What I would love to talk about is that, from my time in the field, building a business. And so I was in, really out of my, I'm 36 years in the business, in I suppose, direct sales now. And so if I was to think about probably close to 16, 17 of that was in the field. So, so when I look at how this time of the year, was how important it actually is for setting yourself up for success. Sometimes what can happen is we can start to kind of tap out. We get into this time in December, and kids are starting to go on school holidays now and all of the rest, and we can start to tap out. But what I learned over my years was that this time of the year, and I'm not saying you're going to be head down, bum up, but what you do need to have is your Snoopy ears on. You need to be listening out for conversations, because as you go into Christmas and into, as you get closer to turning into the new year and all the rest, people are having their downtimes, whatever. They're starting to go on holidays, but they're also realizing that they're actually want to set themselves up for the next year. So they start to think about, what are their goals? What are their New Year's resolutions? 99% of New Year's resolutions are going to have health and wealth in them. Okay, in some way, shape, or form. They either want to be healthier, live longer, make some better choices, all of that, or they want other choices. They want to be able to make wealth choices around jobs, flexibility. Let's face it, right now, most people want to be able to have choices about where they work, how they work, all of those things. Even in a lot of the stuff that I've been on around company directors and all that, around hiring employees, and even that now, if you're not going to be able to offer a flexible workforce, you're going to be way down on the priority of places that people want to work. So you think about what it is that you've got to offer. And so, like I say, it's not about like you killing yourselves over holidays. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, first and foremost, is your shop still open? As we head into the new year, I'm not talking about people maybe getting Juice Plus for Christmas or anything like that, maybe, that's cool. But what I am talking about is there are going to be a lot of people that are going to want to set themselves up for success from a health journey perspective from that first week in January. Well, if they want their product for then, they got to be getting it now, okay, or placing those orders now. So it's having conversations now, even sowing seeds, even through your social media, just saying, silly season is coming. So with that in mind, I'm already planning my first Kickstart, Health Start, whatever you want to call it, for January. Who's with me? Let's party hard in December so that we can set ourselves up for success in January. So if you think about what it is that you've got that you're going to put in place. So yeah, I can see, what did you say just tended there around, yeah, programs. Exactly. You've all got programs. You've all got something that's happening. I know we'll have, like, you know, the stuff, the Kickstart stuff that people can borrow and use in any way, shape or form they want to as well. So there's so many resources between the programs that the teams have and the resources that the team in-house are using. Are you sowing those seeds? So then when they do start to think in between Christmas and New Year, okay, what are some of the goals, the New Year's resolutions I want to set? They think of you when they're thinking about health. Okay, they automatically think of you. The second thing that you want them to be thinking about, and again, I would even be sowing some just little seeds along the way. Again, it can be through your socials or as you're listening to what people are saying. You're going to hear things like, oh my gosh, Christmas is just so expensive. Oh my gosh, oh God, here we go. I'm putting that on the credit card. That's going to be coming out in January or whatever. You're going to hear people saying those things, okay? You get to be able to then take note, listen, and just get curious, going, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally know what you're saying. I am so grateful for my kind of, you know, my side hustle, my business on the side, my online, whatever it is that you call it, that resonates with you. I'm so grateful for that, because I know that that check's going to land on the 10th of January, which means I get to be able to pay off my credit card. So you get to be able to share that in the way that's right for you. But if you're not listening out for all those hints and tips, you're going to miss them. For me, I learned early on from one of my mentors, as goes January, so goes the rest of the year. Again, I had young children, school holidays, all of those kinds of things. But what that meant to me is that I made sure I was still touching my business every day. And that could be like literally 30 minutes a day, which no matter what you've got going on in your life, 30 minutes a day to invest into your business. Whether, I mean, it's even easier now. I didn't have social media in those days, but you could put up a few posts, do a few follow-ups, bang, your work's done for the day, off you go for the rest of your holiday. Okay, to the next day, what is it I'm doing? You could even schedule ahead. On a Monday, you could take an hour and decide, right, what do I want to post each day? What is that going to be about? Schedule all your posts, you're done. But that means you know that your shop is open each one of those days so that you've got business to be doing. And for me, and again, this is what I used to do. The first weekend of the month of the new year, unless it was like, so this year, for example, New Year's Day, I think falls on a Saturday. So it'll be the following one, okay? But that first Saturday of the thing was my kind of like a blitz day. I always had an event of some sort. We would have a team gathering of some sort, just a barbecue, a sausage sizzle, just get together and whatever. We'd have some kind of guests so you could invite people along. And Tanya did a brilliant talk on events and all that at the New Zealand event only last month. Was that last month? It was last month, wasn't it? Not that long ago. But I always kick-started the year. Even if I wanted to have the rest of January off, I always kick-started the year, because what that did for me is it created conversations. It created interest again, so that when I was ready then to get going, I already had conversations to follow up. I wasn't waiting till the end of the month. Then by the time you actually got into those conversations, it was the end of February or the beginning of March. Because you know what it's like. You got to sow the seeds, you got to water them and go on. Whereas if I start that at the beginning of January, I'm already on my way. So that was what I did. Again, take it or leave it. Look at what is going to suit you. But if you're making a goal that 2022 for you is where you are genuinely wanting to achieve something in your business, and if you're on this call, you must do, because it's Wednesday evening, and it's nearly 8 o'clock in the evening for you. So I'm sure there's probably something more interesting on telly that you could be watching than this Irish woman babbling on. So I'm figuring that if you're on here and you're hanging out with us, then there is a reason that what it is that you're wanting to do. So I kind of go, let's have a little squizzy here. I'm just checking because I can see the chat going off to one side and I'm not paying any attention to it. So I just kind of come back here. Hubby just got another customer. Yay! oh, Tammy's husband. He started to give me a bit of competition. I love it. I love that friendly rivalry. Awesome. 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 Okay. What's hubby's name? Put it in the chat there or whatever. I'm going to get props, I tell you. Good work. Good work. So yeah, so what I would really be looking at, and I always, the girls who were talking in the office, actually just I left, they said, are you going to have some downtime? I said, yeah, I'm taking a few days between Christmas and New Year, because that is my time. Every single year, I spend at least a day with a journal, and I download everything I'm grateful for the previous year, everything that, so the year that I've just finished, everything, every lesson that I've learned, and there's a few of them. So everything I'm grateful for, every lesson that I've learned, every blessing that has kind of come into my life over that time as well. And those blessings are oftentimes lessons as well. So I'll do that. And then I go, okay, what is it that I'm wanting to create for my next year? And I do that in a number of different areas. So my quadrants that I look at, my health and well-being, what is it I want to create in my coming year? My spirituality, what does that look like for me? So again, it could be different things. So it could be a deeper relationship with your higher power. It could be you want to make sure that you're meditating on a more regular basis, that you're spending some time in the Word, that you join a group, like I've joined this women's circle that is holding me to account around that, tapping into my feminine intuition and my feminine spirituality side of things. What might that look like for you? So spirituality, relationships is the next quadrant. Now relationships is kids relationships, love relationships, friend relationships. What I learned over the years, and what am I now, 56, is that if you don't invest into relationships, you won't have them. So marriage is an everyday choice. Being a good parent is an everyday choice. Being a good friend is an everyday choice. So what are the choices I want to make around my relationships? And then business. What are the goals that I've got that are around business? Okay, what is it that I'm setting in stone that are kind of some non-negotiable goals that I'm going to do? Because once I take each of these, so those 4 quadrants, okay, once I've set those goals, I then call them commitments. Because goals are one thing, and you can kind of put them on the vision boards and you can do all that, and that's great, and I believe in all of that. If they're out of them, they're going to start to identify some really solid goals that are non-negotiable, at least one in each of the areas. And then I reverse engineer it. So I then take some time over the coming week or whatever like that to reverse engineer each one of those. So if it was, say, for example, that I wanted to hit sales coordinator in 2022, I would reverse engineer that to go, okay, what does that mean? What is it I have to achieve to do that? Where am I now? What's the gap that has to be filled? So then what would be the monthly, weekly, and daily tasks that I know, the steps that are going to move me closer to it? If I want to do a 10K row, if I want to do a 10K row on the rowing machine, okay, what's my longest row so far? Okay, a 5K. What's the difference? There's another 5K to go. So what is it I'm going to need to do? How often am I going to be on the rowing machine to get myself into a space where can I actually do that? So that's kind of, so I just reverse engineer each one of the goals in each of the areas. And then in my quadrant, I have a heart. Right in the middle is love. So why I added that later on. So that model is actually a model I created when I was studying coaching. We all had to kind of have a model in which we coached around. And so later on, though, probably a few years later, I actually added a heart into the center with the words love in there, because what I needed to make sure is that love underpinned everything. So the health and well-being was not about, and this was because my personal experience around health and well-being was I can often beat myself up about it because I'm either not at the weight I think I should be at, or I'm out of the this, or I'm not of the what. So I'm always coming at each one of those things. If it's a fitness or a health goal, how am I practicing self-love around that? Okay, am I doing that from a place of lack, that, oh, I have to get to a certain weight, or I have to look like this, or whatever like that? Or am I doing it at a place of love? I actually just want to be a healthier version of myself. I want to have the energy. The reason why I want to do it is I want to have the energy to be the most present grandmother that can get down on the floor and actually get back up again. There's all of those kinds of things. So it's love. Okay, the spirituality goal, what's that about? That's again about love. I want to have that deeper, stronger relationship with God so that I know that my faith will always carry me through every trial and tribulation that is absolutely going to come my way. But because I continue to sow into the goal around that journey that is coming from a place of love and awareness, then I know that I'm going to come through. Relationships, am I coming from a place of love? Do I have friendships or relationships that are no longer serving me? Is it time to be able to release them? Because that would then practice self-love for me and love for them as well. Because if a relationship is hard work, effort is not about hard work. Effort is because you actually truly want to be able to sow deeper into that relationship. Hard work is when you're in a relationship with somebody, whether it's a friend or whatever like that, and you feel worse leaving an interaction than what you did before you got there. So how do I practice that? Am I ringing some bells, sweetheart? So, how am I practicing love for self, love for them in that space, with the goals that I'm setting? And then business. Okay, why am I doing it? So for me, every one of my business goals has always come back to my reason why. And that's my children and now my grandchildren. So is that goal a worthy goal that actually is going to, yes, increase business? So if I was thinking about our business goal as a company, it's going to be around clubs. So the goal that we're working on currently at the moment is 1,000 clubs. Is that going to not only serve our team internally in the office from a place of love? Are we going to be able to provide them with great jobs, everything like that? Is that going to be able to serve our partners from a place of love? Will that mean more? For me, yes, because that's more people earning a minimum of $500 a month, which I'm passionate about. So that's yes. Is that going to serve my family from a place of love? So does that allow me to be able to be still, even with all of that, a present? So I have to remember this, to be a present mom and grandmother while I'm in pursuit of that goal. Yes. So I make sure that I keep those in mind. So that's what that all means. So does that make sense? Am I making sense there with all of that? So I think it's really important to have the goals, but then underpin them with always bringing it back, because when there's a love underneath it all, and you're really clear about the goals in each of those quadrants, you start to kind of get a much more rounded experience. Now, does that mean that it's going to be 25% in this quadrant, 25% in this quadrant? No. There will be seasons then over the year where, you know what, you're running hard for a promotion and you're probably going to be 50, 60% in that space, but it should only be for a season. You're going to have a season when you are deep into some personal growth. You're really doing that. That's all in that spirituality category. You're going to be deep into that. So you might have, again, a little bit of an off kilter and whatever. You may have a season where, you know what, your relationship just needs to take a priority. And so, but what's always happening is you're touching every one of them on a weekly basis, because there's something that's in there to be able to serve you. So if I think about my spirituality, there is probably 15 minutes every single morning where I'm in the Word. Okay, this is the Tuesday night event, and then I'm chatting to God all the time. I mean, I'm sure he's sick of hearing from me, but anyhow, that's a whole other story. But that's where that is. So that's that space. Okay, health and well-being. Well, it's just a non-negotiable. There's at least one workout a day. Okay, whatever that looks like, whether it's on the PT rowing, guys, at 5:30 in the morning, or whether it's going for a walk in the afternoon when I knock off, or whatever it might be. But there's just something that's happening every single day. It's non-negotiable. So again, that could be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, but it's just part of the day. My relationships, making sure I'm spending time to be able to, I can't physically see my boys and girls at the moment. They're down in Tassie, but phone calls, Zooms, FaceTimes, Making sure that myself and Mick, even though we work together, we live together, we have just date time that is just purely about our relationship and whatever like that. So you start to look at it. And then, of course, right now in this season, especially with just becoming CEO, you can bet that the large portion is, of course, the business. Absolutely. But as long as those other things are at least happening, I'm balanced. I can cope with anything. If I don't know that I have, for example, we're having a Zoom Christmas party on Sunday night with our boys and girls down in Tassie and our daughter and husband and grandson up here. We're all getting together on Zoom and we're going to have a Christmas party. That fills my heart. I can cope with anything now. So once I know that I've got those things in place, I can cope with anything. So that's the thing. You find out what is it that really keeps you going, that lights your fire enough then to go, okay, I am going to run in my business for this season, but I'm going to make sure I have something happening in each of those quadrants that is serving me from a place of love that will keep that kind of light topped up so I can run for this business goal at this time. So I just think that's something, and again, that's purely from my perspective, that is what has worked for me. It may not work for you, but that is what has worked for me. And many of my coaching clients, even over the years where I worked in those quadrants, no matter who they were, whether they were CEO of business, whether they were a mom at home trying to building a direct selling business online, whatever, it didn't make any difference. Those 4 quadrants, if people can have something happening in each of those, it was quite easy to remember. So they could just ask themselves at the beginning of the week, what have I got in my health and well-being quadrant this week? What have I got in my spirituality quadrant this week? What have I got in my relationships quadrant this week? And what have I got happening in my business? And is it all underpinned by love? Because at the end of the day, we are either in love or fear. So when we're coming from lack, when we're coming from anxiety, when we're coming from doubt, we're in fear. It's very everything else, joy, blessings, gratitude, all of that is in love. So we're either coming from one of those 2 places. So we always want to be moving towards love. What does that look like? So I hope that helps a little bit.
That's beautiful. I love that. I was just thinking that this is something very similar to what we did with Linda. And I don't think it was called the wellness wheel, but it was a wheel. And there was lots of different areas, and it was all about balance and making sure that we're balanced. But I love this concept of bringing in your goals and making sure that you've got goals in all those areas. I think that's great.
And that's why I kind of brought it down to 4, to be honest, because I've done lots of different ones. Like Jack, when I was studying under Jack Canfield, he had one as well. Tony Robbins, I think, has one. A lot of them have got up to 8 things, and MJB even has as well. And they're great I love them for sitting down and doing an assessment, because it breaks down some of those areas into even deeper areas kind of thing. But from the point of view of just a weekly, monthly audit for me, and for many of the clients that I worked with early on, and even my team that I started to work with around this, the 4, actually, I just remembered when I started studying coaching, I was living in Christchurch, actually. That just reminded me, actually, I remember the kitchen, sitting down at the table to do my first lot of assignments. But yeah, bringing it down to 4 is very easy for me to be able to do a quick audit. Okay, bang, 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 bang. Have I got something happening in each of those areas? Okay, yes, no, okay. I know that my life is going to get very quickly out of kilter if I don't have something. And it doesn't need to be something big, but I just need to know that there's something in each of those areas, because there will be one that will take priority over the other. But yeah, you do whatever it is, I think, that serves you. That's the most important thing. I like things simple. I like things that I can quickly remember as well. Do I love all the wheels and all the rest? I do. But could I tell you right now what's in all of those things? No, I couldn't. So that's why I like something that's really simple. So no matter where I am, I can quickly do a quick audit. Okay, what have I got in health and well-being? What have I got in spirituality? What have I got in relationships? What have I got in business? And is love underpinning it all? Okay, that's great. Okay, bang, 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 bang. No, I don't. That's why I'm feeling a little bit off. So I can tell straight away if I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts. I just do that quick audit. Okay, bang, bang, bang. All right, okay. I've got nothing in to catch up with the boys or to catch up with Cara, or all right, myself and Nick haven't put in a date night, or right, okay, right, make that happen, bang, done, and I'm fine. And that's kind of where, you know, the way I operate anyhow.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I've just quickly written them all down. So does anyone have any questions for Celine? Because we don't get to have Celine all to ourselves very often, so I'd make the most of it. Hi, Dana. How are you, darling?
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Good, honey. So no questions. If you do have any questions, just jump off mute. It's so much easier. Thank you so much, Celine. Always adding value. That was really good. It was a really good reminder, actually, because I've just been focusing on it. It's so easy to just focus on one area.
Yep.
You know, and for a long time I was just focusing on my business, and then I was focusing on my relationships, and you know, and so I think it's really important to remember that we've got to bring in all those areas to keep the balance, but also, I mean, it's like what we do in our program. We have our mind, body, and soul program. We've got to align everything, right? We've got to have some kind of balance. If one area is not working, then the others are going to be out too. So it's ensuring that we're working, moving forward in all those areas.
And I think too, like, I mean, you know, the reality is that, you know, none of us have the luxury to just kind of go, okay, well, I'm only going to focus on one area for the next 6 months and that's it, because that's not life. You know, while we do that, then we're, you know, getting ourselves unfit, or our business is falling apart or whatever, you know. And so I learned this through, you know, business myself, like, you know, having a young family, you know, relationship, family on the other side of the world, needing to look at that, business, all of the rest. And so I looked at it and I kind of thought, okay, well, I need to find a way in which I can do a little bit regularly, rather than feeling like I've got to go all into everything. But the power of that is actually the compounding effect then. Because if you are doing a little bit regularly, you start to actually bring in the principle of compounding, which means that you're going to get better results anyhow. That consistency creates better results. So you're actually better off doing a little more often than trying to do a lot, kind of, you know, in a run, and then not doing anything for a month or whatever like that. And that's how people fall out of kind of even balance within their business. So, you know, it was just that compounding consistency that I learned. And then it's exactly the same then, you know, with fitness or whatever. It's like at the moment, you know, you feel like you can kind of, you know, you've been exercising, you know, you're starting to feel yourself getting fitter. And then you go for a week or two without doing it, and it's like you're starting all over again. It's like, and I'm just going to say to you ladies, and it gets harder as you get older. So it's kind of like, you know, you got to do those little bits. So even though I can tell you this morning, I did not want to be on that rowing machine with Jer Sheehan going, come on. I did not want to be on there. But once you get on, you get into it and you kind of go. I have to say, when I got off, I still didn't want to be on there, because it was like, oh my God, it was just one of those mornings, but it was hard. But benefit wise, I just know my body feels fitter. I feel healthier, you know, and I think it's never been more important to be healthy than in the world we're in at the moment. So I feel healthier, but then also my mind operates clearer. So when I then go into the office, bang, it's just everything is clearer, and then you make better choices and all sorts. So the little bits that you do in each area tend to actually then flow into the other areas, because they impact it. They do all of those different things. Hi, Pete. I can see you. So yeah. So I think that's where something like this. Keep it very simple. Choose what are, you know, some of the goals that you want in that. Don't try to have too many. And then just make sure that you're consistent with your actions, that you're drip feeding in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a daily or a weekly basis. I would not go past touching one of your goals, any one of your goals, more than a week. Have you sown into relationships this week? Have you sown into spirituality this week? Have you sown into health and well-being this week? Have you sown into business this week? You can definitely make that happen. They don't have to be big things, but if you're doing that on a regular basis, then you're setting yourself up for success. And anyone can achieve anything. And I basically say, I am a lass who grew up in Dublin in a working class family, came to Australia with 2 suitcases between myself and Mick. We were 22 and 23. And anything we've created is through that consistent effort, small, consistent effort, just being prepared to, no one was going to outwork me. I was just going to do it. But it was that consistent effort that then will get you the results. And so the choices we've had, the way in which we can get to be able to give now from time, treasure, and talents is because of those consistent efforts. So that's what I would say to you. We don't have to be anybody amazing. We literally just need to be ourselves, bring our individual, absolutely brilliant lights to the world, because we've all been created by a God who just makes no mistakes. So every one of us has been miraculously made for a purpose. And so we have this beautiful little Bunsen burner light within us that we just get to turn up the flame. We just get to turn that up and shine. And that's what this world needs right now. More of us shining brightly with our flame, warts and all, everything. We get to bring everything to the table. What's been good, what the lessons we've learned in our life, everything. We get to bring it all to the table because we will bless somebody else with our story. We really will.
Amen. I really agree with this. And it doesn't matter what part of the story it is, whatever your story is, sharing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be just about business. It can be about anything that's going on in your life that you've just been through and you've just grown from. And
totally, just be real.
Yeah.
Just be real. You get to come on the story, like Mira shared her story there, conference and all the rest. You just get to be able to share your story because there's somebody else out there that needs to hear it and kind of go, oh my gosh, okay, she can do it, I can do it. Okay, cool. I think it's so important. So
great, thank you, Celine. I was gonna say, you touched on compounding there for a bit, and I was just gonna ask if anybody in here gets compounding, if you know what it is, or if you don't know what it is.
Does everybody get what compounding is? They say, good work, okay. So basically they actually say that it's the 9th wonder of the world. So compounding works in a number of different ways. If you think about compounding from a financial perspective, it's a little bit like, you've got actually, Richard talks about it beautifully in the 4-year career. And so it really is talking about, like, if you take $1 and it compounds, so the interest that is on there stays in there and it starts to compound because you're earning then interest on interest and so on and so forth. So what happens is it grows. If we think about it when we're talking about action, you think about, okay, if you're working out of the gym, you go into the gym today and you do 10 reps, okay? You go into the gym tomorrow, you do 10 reps. You go in the next day, you do 10 reps. What's happening is your muscle is compounding. You're actually getting growth on there. It's getting stronger and stronger. If you were to go into the gym today and do 100, okay, press ups, lifts, whatever it is that you do, okay, you do 100 a day, but not do anything for a week, you will find that you will not get as strong as quickly than if you go in and do 10 today, 10 the next day, 10 the next day, 10 the next day, because you're doing the compound effect on that. It's just like me on the rowing machine. If I'm on it and I'm getting on there 3-4 times a week, I can actually feel my breathing better, everything better. If I go on a Monday and it's the only time I'm going to go on it is on a Monday, yes, am I getting some benefit? Of course I am. But am I getting as much benefit as when I do it more regularly? No. So in your business, when we think about, the compound effect taking effect, you think about the grid I often talk about. So the compound effect of the grid was when I was doing a reach out each day, what was happening, the compound effect of me doing even one reach out every single day, is that every day that went past, I was getting more confident. So I was then in those conversations, I was able to get curious, ask the right questions, provide the right answers, and be able to convert people much better. If I'm only doing touching my business on a Monday, by the time I come to next Monday again, I've got all that nervous again. I'm kind of tongue-tied and whatever like that. But if I'm doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I am getting better and better and better. And so what I noticed as I was tracking my grids was that if I looked at a grid from month 1 and then I looked at a grid from month 5, the conversions of the people who turned into yeses to product or yeses to business was actually much higher by the time I got to month 5 than month 1, because I was committed to getting better every single day. So you start to compound. So compounding shows up in so many different ways. Compounding will show up whether we like it or not. So it will show up negatively or positively. Negatively, you're still compounding for what you're not doing every day. So if you're not exercising every day, you're compounding unfit. If you are not touching your business on a regular, on a thing every day, you're compounding lack of confidence. So you're compounding either way. You might as well be compounding in a positive way rather than a negative way. So use it. It is one of, as I said, it's a universal law. So it definitely will happen. But where we hear about it a lot is in finances. Because of course you get the opportunity to be able to compound interest is literally earning interest on interest, because you're leaving it in there and it's starting to compound and it gets quite magical that way. I hope that makes sense for everybody.
That's what happens in our business too, Paul.
Totally, absolutely. Yeah. You start to see the compound effect of your business taking off. You'll get to a tipping point in your business where what you'll start to notice is that, so say for example, you've put the hard yards in and you've got, you know, say you've got 5 or 6 legs wide, okay, that are PB qualified. What starts to happen down in those legs then is they start to duplicate. And next thing, the compound effect takes off, because you've now got 6 people who, that if they've got qualified businesses and they're wanting to do something, you've got 6 people now that are all out there looking. So instead of you going to have to try and find people, you've got other people that you're working with that are finding people, who are finding people, who are finding people. So you see the compound effect really, really take it. I mean, it's magic. It's absolutely magic when you start to look within an organization where you can see it. Takes the work first. It's like with anything, just making a difference, whether you start a health routine, whether you start a relationship, where you start anything at the beginning is effort. Anything at the beginning is effort. So you've got to get to that tipping point where then it becomes so much easier. It's like in anything.
I've just realised you've been talking for nearly an hour, Celine.
I know, I'm making sure, I'm having a little look here to make sure that I've covered off any questions or anything like that that are in the chat as well. Yes, I know. It's wind me up and let me go.
I love it. Like one of those little wind-up boys. It's so good though. It's so much gold there. Thank you so much, Celine. Really, really appreciate you.
You're so welcome. So look, I would say, guys, give yourselves the gift of getting real clear around what you want to create for 2022. And 2022 starts now. It really does. It starts now. What are some of the things that you're going to be able to do to set yourself up for success to start 2022 strong? And, you know, I mean, on a spiritual level, I feel that we're heading into a new shift within our world. So I feel that the more prepared we are, the better we will be set up for that. And so give yourself the gift of having your business in a place where it's giving you choices. No matter what else you're doing, that's cool, but that your business is giving you some choices. I would definitely be looking at what that looks like as we head into 2022. I think we are heading into a very different world. I think it's going to be an exciting world once we get through all the rubbish. But I think on the flip side of all of that, I firmly believe that there's something amazing being created. We want to be prepared for that, though. We really do. So let's get strong in that. Let's build some foundation in our businesses. Let's start to be talking to people so they know that they've got choices too. And they know that there's a community of love that accepts people. I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree too. I think it's going to be, this is just the beginning of something amazing. It's just we've got to get through the drudge first. The changes, you know, the transition, we've got to get through that. So yeah, I agree.
They say, Robin Sharma says, change is, what does he say? Change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and beautiful at the end. So I think we're just in the hard and messy part. That's all.
Yeah, we are. And the thing is, you know, we've got such a gift. We really do. We have such a gift that we can offer people who are really struggling right now.
We could, truly can. Amira, have you got your hand up, babe?
Yeah. I have a question. Because you've done this as like a network marketer into like, like through the business, and now you're a CEO. Like, cool, by the way. Like it's felt too hard, like there's no way you've got into where you are where there hasn't been moments where my language, but where you're like, it's too hard. And you want to throw the towel in, like what gets you through, what's pushed you through those moments and
were you watching me a few weeks ago, were you?
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those moments come hard and fast, but I touched on this a little bit earlier on. For me, it's always been my why. My kids, and now my grandson, and we've got another one cooking as well. So my grandchildren and my angel in heaven are my reason why. I mean, seriously, I know it sounds very cliche and all the rest, but it's actually the truth. I always wanted to be able to have the choices, to be able to just be better for them. And so honestly, they were the reason. So for us, families on the other side of the world, so it was about myself and Mick always with our kids. And so it was just, that's what it was. It was just, I always wanted to be able to have a different choice, because we'd chosen to move to the other side of the world, away from our family, to give our family a better life. We wanted to be able to have a better life for ourselves and then for our kids. And so I kind of thought, you know what, if I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to show up for myself and for them, well, I might as well go home and be in Ireland and be close to our family. So we came here for those choices. And so that's what it was. I was never giving up. I was just never giving up, even on the days when I felt like it. And I had the tears and the friggin' pity party and, the hissy fit or whatever it might be. I still do, Mick will say. But I just was never giving up. And so it was the case of, okay, I would give myself, if I was really in a funk, I would say, right, okay, Celine, you can have this day. You can have this day to have your pity party. You can do whatever it is that you need to do for this, okay? Have your day off. Go do whatever it is that you need to do some maybe self-care or whatever like that. But tomorrow, you don't have that choice anymore. Tomorrow morning, you're hiring yourself again at your highest level. That's it. So I could have a day, but I wasn't allowed to have two in a row. So I just was really stringent with myself around that, because 2 in a row turns into 3 in a row. 3 in a row turns into 4 in a row.
Quick.
Exactly. And so, and I suppose I watched as well. I saw people come and go. I saw my own upline actually get herself into such a funk that in the end she gave up. And my business, took off. I mean, she just needed to stick around a little bit longer, and all of her goals would have come through, because all of mine were. But that's the thing. I've watched people, and even in our Juice Plus family, I've seen people walk thinking that they're going to the grass is greener, something brighter, and God bless them, they're in a situation where, they are definitely nowhere near where they were, the money they were earning when they were with Juice Plus, no matter how big or small that check was. So I just always felt I just would go down the path that I was never giving up on myself, and I was never giving up on those kids. So, and it's still, because we still want to be able to have the choices. Our family values are around experiences and contribution. And so like Mick tonight is down at Reach, they're doing food packs for next week for Christmas and whatnot. So our time is always around that. And then our experiences is with our family. We're not into kind of things per se. So it's about family. So they were the choices that we wanted. And so we wanted to be able to do it. So I was just never giving up. So just back yourself, even on the days when you feel that, and I've had those days, like even in this journey towards CEO, I don't know how many times I've had the not good enough stories going through my head. And I still do, but I start every single day. When I'm brushing my teeth, I have my statements on the thing. I'm valuable, worthy, lovable, okay. I can handle anything that comes my way. So can everybody else. I'm divinely guided. I have them there, and I am reading them every single morning. And I have another copy of them that I carry with me every day in my notebook as well. So just, if you can give yourself the biggest gift, is never quit on a bad day. You've heard that plenty of times, and it's so true. So never quit on a bad day, and back yourself. So Amira, I know you've had ups and downs and ins and outs and all sorts of things. Back yourself, never give up on a bad day, and just know that you're not going to quit on you or on your kids. And that just becomes non-negotiable. Then you do that often enough, what happens is you show up stronger each and every day. And so you then start to see the results start to come through, the compound effect start to take effect, and it goes from there. But you gotta be prepared to back yourself. So one day off, that's okay. You can have your pity party. Never give yourselves 2 in a row.
The never give up on a bad day is your thing, Amira. And she's still here. She's still here. The amount of times she wanted to give up on a bad day, eh, darling?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Matt, I know. But that's the thing, though. And if you don't, what happens is people are watching. That's the other thing too. There are always people watching. They're watching to see if you actually have the commitment to stay in the game. And then when you do, and I saw it myself, I had then people coming to me kind of going, okay, I've been watching you. I want to join you. I want to do what you're doing, whatever like that. And that's what happens. People will start to say that because they've watched you commit and keep going no matter what. And so when people see that commitment, that's very attractive because people like certainty, because people will watch to see if you fail. It's human nature. They kind of, so it is importantly. Awesome. Look at that. That's lovely, Dana. That's lovely. Cool.
All righty. Well, we're going to say goodbye to Celine. Thank you so much. Do you ladies want to jump off and say thank you to her?
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Celine.
So welcome. Happy Christmas. And let's make magic together as we head into 2022.
Definitely. Thank you so much, beautiful. You have a lovely Christmas with family.
I will. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.